A massive thanks to MPB for sponsoring today's video.
So I'm out today shooting with the OM system, OM-5, and it's been a while. I get quite a lot of questions from you lot saying, when are you going to go out with the Olympus or the OM system camera again? It's been ages. For those of you that may be new here, I usually shoot with a Nikon Z7 and occasionally go out with this, and I kind of interchange them both. Honestly, the reason is as simple as the fact that I pack my bag with my Nikon Z7 gear, and then that bag kind of stays packed for weeks and weeks, and then it's like effort to repack a bag with a different camera system. I don't know, that's a terrible excuse, but either way, I'm really excited to be going out with the OM system OM-5 today. Oh, there we go. That's the noise. The crisp autumn leaves underfoot. Oh, it's some noise, isn't it? Now, I would bet that the vast majority of outdoor photographers up and down the length and breadth of Britain are saying exactly the same thing right now. Autumn has pretty much just hit. We were just starting to get some really nice colour. And then there was a storm. So yeah, only a few days ago this storm came, really high winds. I think round here in the Lake District it maybe got up to about 60 mile an hour, but enough to blow so many of the leaves, so many of the beautiful colourful leaves off a lot of the trees. To be honest with you, I'm currently around the Coniston area. We'll get onto today's adventure in a minute, but I don't think it's too bad. And my reasoning is because over the past few days I've realised autumn's not quite hit prime just yet. There's still a lot of trees that are still quite green, and thus I think, you know, a lot of the trees have actually retained their leaves. I mean, it's a perfect example there, isn't it, if you can see any of that in the background. Leaf-filled trees. So yeah, all is not lost just yet. So we're doing a little loop walk, really. Probably, I think it's around 7 kilometres, something like that. So we'll be out for a couple of hours, I reckon. And as you can see, perhaps you can tell, we're quite late in the day. So hopefully going to stay out till sunset, actually. And yeah, we're really close to Coniston Water, quite close to Coniston Town as well. And this is a brilliant little area, and a lot like last week, actually. I've just chosen a little loop walk, quite low level, but that's hopefully going to incorporate a lot of interest and a lot of variety, and hopefully a nice little bit of woodland as well, and and fingers crossed that the trees in this area have retained some of the leaves, because yeah, I'm really hoping that this beautiful light sticks around. And look at this, we've got some herdwicks up the way already. But yeah, just such a beautiful day, what a start. So I reckon quite a lot of this walk is going to be like this, actually, a bit sort of moorland, desolate feeling, which is great. You know, I always love trying to work with all sorts of landscapes, but there are a couple of tarns, actually. One that's quite well known in the photography world, at least, called Kelly Hole Tarn, which a lot of you may have heard of. I don't think I've ever photographed it on this channel before. I've been there tons of times, and it's an amazing little spot, and you get gorgeous views back to the Coniston Fells, just like we are today. Oh, man, I love this area. So yeah, it's shaping up to be quite nice. And we do a short section right along the shores of Coniston Water, and I believe it's part of the Cumbria Way as well, which is nice. Now today marks a really big day for me personally. So I was going to go round this way, and I say round because you may be able to see there's a sort of a tarn there. I think it's actually an old disused reservoir, but my plan was to go round and up the hill that you can see there, so we're sort of looking down on it. But and it is really nice over there, but that's looking so muddy, man, and I'm not feeling it. And I've actually never been down this side of the little tarn here, so I figured it'll make a little bit of a change. Now, let me get onto this thing. So, very, very long story short, today marks, oh, this is big for me, man. Today marks the first time that I'll be going out with my camera with better than 20/20 vision in both of my eyes. For those of you that have followed me for years, I haven't spoken about it a lot, but what, 3 years ago or something, 4 years ago, I used to do 2 videos a week, and I remember saying to you, I'm going to go down to doing 1 video a week because I'm going to be having an eye operation. Again, very long story short, this is me now 3 or 4 years later. I've got a contact lens in my right eye. My left eye just doesn't even need a contact lens. The vision's so good in it. I had an operation in that eye back in 2015. Madness, it's so beautiful. It's such a special moment for me to be out in the fells with my camera, like I said, with this eyesight. So we now need to take a little left turn here through all of this bracken. I'd say this would be a bit tricky in the summer actually, like, I mean, obviously we're midway through autumn now and it's quite overgrown, but this should open out in a little bit as we get further down towards Torver Beck, which should be a really interesting little river to photograph, and that eventually runs right into what is the western end of Coniston Water. But yeah, it's beautiful down here, and I really do want to try and make a concerted effort to get my camera out this week, because last week it was a brilliant little walk, but I just feel like I didn't get my camera out enough, and yeah, I want to try my best. Oh, look at this, and look how quiet it is. So this is really close to a little village called Torver, hence Torver Beck, and it's just such a beautiful part of Lakeland, and it's so quiet. You know, you really don't get that many people around here, and it definitely feels like a complete and utter hidden gem, especially with the Coniston Fells right there as well. It's fantastic. So we've made it to beautiful Torver Beck, and I'll tell you one thing, it is very, very loud. But the light's getting better and better as the evening progresses. I mean, look at that, that is gorgeous. And we've got this beautiful bridge here. You can see I've just dumped my stuff on the floor. That is of course, going to get us across the water, but it's also giving us a really nice vantage point looking into the water here. Now, I was going to take, you know, quite a straight photograph of what you're seeing there, maybe a 16:9, capturing all of that interest, but you know what, it's just way too messy. So what I've done is I've actually stuck the OM-5 into a square crop, and I've found one little section just there. So it's basically, the square is something like that, and I'm really, really happy with the way that it's coming out. So I've put the digital neutral density filter on the 4-stop, and I'm having to shoot at f8, so you can tell there it is still quite bright, but it's just about working. So that'll be like f16 on a full frame. It's still absolutely fine. And yeah, I'm just zooming in to that little section there, 1/4 of a second, just keeping as still as I can. And yeah, really, really happy with that. And I think it's good practice, you know, sometimes to get somewhere when your initial mindset is just to think, oh, I'll shoot it wide, it looks amazing. Because more often than not, if you do that without too much thought, you'll be disappointed with the image when you get it home. And yeah, I do think sometimes it is worth just assessing the initial idea that you've got, especially when you're in places where it can be so tempting just to take the wide photograph like it was there, because to our eyes, you know, the wide scene pretty much always looks amazing, but to try and turn that into a photograph can be few and far between. So yeah, I do think taking a few extra minutes, a few extra seconds even sometimes, to just think to yourself, is this definitely the right composition for me to get the best out of this scene? And I think that was definitely one of those instances. And that's not to say that the photograph was any good, but I'm just glad that I took the time to look at the scene a little bit deeper, because I know for a fact if I'd have taken that wide shot in a 16:9, I wouldn't have been too happy with it. So we've now crossed back over the A5084, I think it is. And yeah, we've sort of done a little bit of a loop over into that moorland here, and then yeah, back over the road. And now, within a few minutes really, we're going to be down at the shores of the western side of Coniston Water, and I'm really looking forward to getting down here. How nice is the light as well? I'm really hoping that this sticks around. By the way, I forgot to say, this is us now on the Cumbria Way, and in fact, I didn't realise, because I've never done the Cumbria Way, amazingly, because it's something that I keep saying that I want to do. But we've been on the Cumbria Way basically since back at the reservoir where I was chatting away about my eyes. So yeah, here we are. I mean, there's no different, there's nothing special about it. I think it's just, well, it's the Cumbria Way, isn't it? It just feels cool to be on it. I should say, actually, perhaps a lot of you don't know what I'm on about when I'm saying the Cumbria Way. I always fail to remember that not everybody knows these things. The Cumbria Way is a long distance hiking route that goes from the northern end of Cumbria to the southern end, or vice versa, whichever way you want to do it. And it goes from Carlisle, if you're going from the north, right down to Ulverston, back down on Morecambe Bay near home, if you're going north to south. And yeah, something that I've always wanted to do. Obviously takes you through some of the best that Cumbria and the Lake District National Park has to offer. And I don't know how long it takes actually. You know yourselves with like long distance hikes, it can take as long as you want it to, but I'm not sure. I think people generally might do it in sort of 4 nights, something like that. But yeah, it is definitely on the list. Oh, look at the light. Look at the light. Still 2 hours till sunset as well, so this is brilliant. Now, absolutely massive first world problem here. And this comes from being in a place of privilege and fortune to be able to own 2 separate camera systems, right? Let's just get that out of the way. But I find it so frustrating when you've been using one camera, one brand of camera for ages, and you come over to another one and I forget what all the frigging custom buttons are. Like at the minute, I want to change so that I'm using the LCD screen and not the viewfinder. But I can't remember the button, so I'm forced to use the viewfinder. I just can't be bothered figuring it out. Anyway, I'm taking a photograph here. Quite like the look of this one. And it's another little abstract-y, well not abstract, but another intimate photograph, I suppose. Just photographing this little selection of oak leaves here. What I really like about this is I feel like it tells a bit of a story of how I felt over the last week or 10 days of, is it autumn yet? Is it not autumn? What's going on, leaves? And like, it's kind of like, these oak leaves up here are really nicely browned, beautiful colour, whereas this one, still quite green. You know, I feel like it's a nice transition from, I guess, end of summer into autumn. Now, what's actually really important with this photograph, technically, is aperture. Naturally, I'd want to shoot this at f2.8, wide open, so that I get some nice background blur. However, I've got to be careful with my focus, because if I shoot at f2.8, and it might seem really pedantic, but you've got to be careful with these sorts of intimate shots. If I focus here on the leaf, that's quite a big distance when you're talking microscopically this close. It's quite a big distance from there to there. I mean, what is that? I don't know. I mean, it's only about 4 inches or something daft. But when you get in that close in, it's really important. So I've had to stop down really to sort of f5.6, f6.3, and we're still getting that beautiful background blur. But yeah, another nice little square crop. I've also had to make sure the shutter speed's fast enough that we don't get any motion blur, because it's moving around a little bit. But yeah, some beautiful light coming in from this way. I think I'm going to really like this one. Simple, but does the job, I suppose. And I don't know, I just love giving myself the license to come out and photograph little intimate scenes like this, you know. It's actually, I'll tell you what it is, it's a really fun part of outdoor photography, of landscape photography, is remembering that there's photographs everywhere. I say this all the time on the channel, don't I? But It's a great way to think when you come out with your camera and stay open-minded to absolutely everything around you. Oh, look at that light there, that is beautiful. And then look at this frigging oak tree. Still so green. What are you doing, man? I mean, it's good. It means that there's still, I guess, quite a lot of excitement of autumn to look forward to, you know. So it won't be too much longer until a little bit further down. It actually gets a little bit more woodlandy, for want of a better word. And then we'll kind of swing a left and head up towards Kelly Hall Tarn. Now, as we move on a bit further down this little pathway here, I'd love to say another huge thank you to MPB for sponsoring today's video. So if you've never heard of MPB, it is a platform that you can use to buy or sell used photography or videography equipment. And it is an absolute pleasure and actually very, very easy to do this sponsored piece because I've used MPB myself for years to buy and sell. In terms of buying from MPB, they've got wonderfully competitive prices, and as much as I can, I try my best to buy photography gear used, and MPB is a fantastic place to do it. They've got really competitive prices, like I said, and on top of that, they take a photograph of the actual piece of gear that you're buying, whether it's a camera or a lens, not just a stock photograph, so you can have a good look at like a really nice high definition image. And you also get a 6-month warranty with everything that you purchase used, which is brilliant, you know, nice little bit of peace of mind. Now, where MPB are actually even better, in my opinion, is in selling to them. You go over to their website, you type in the gear that you're thinking about selling to them, and they will give you an instant quote for how much they're willing to pay you for that gear. And if you're happy with that, it actually gets even better. They will pay for and send a courier to your house to come and pick the gear up. All you've got to do is box it up and print out a label and put it on the box, or just write the address on the box. It's so easy and simple, and I think it's brilliant. In fact, I bought this Panasonic Leica 12-60 lens from MPB recently after selling my old sort of Olympus 12-200 lens, and yeah, it's seamless, it's faff free, and they come highly recommended from me. And yeah, there'll be a link down in the description below. Please do use that because it helps me out a little bit as well. And another massive thank you to them for supporting my channel with today's sponsorship. Wow, look at this absolute mayhem here. Surely this isn't actually from that storm there the other day. In fact, look at that there. That, to me, looks like quite a fresh break, does it not? Fresh snappage right there. And I mean, look at the leaves of the silver birch tree. That's quite sad, isn't it? Goodness me. So rather than continuing down the shores of Coniston Water, we take a left up here, and this path will slowly head up through this woodland, and then eventually we'll come out onto sort of like a moorland. And up there's a couple of tarns. We're hopefully going to be facing in the right direction for the sunset. That's why you might be able to notice I'm sort of rushing around a little bit, because we've lost the light now in this woodland, and obviously, you know, I don't need to rush. I could just take photographs here, I could enjoy this, but friggin' hell, my personality again, I'm just wanting to get up onto the moorland and see if I can make something work with the sunset. Whoa. Oh yes, look at this now. I'm in terrible timing. I should be in location now, on location for taking sunset shots. But yeah, back up to the Coniston Fells, the Old Man, Doe Crag. There's that brown pike with the light hitting him on the left. Oh, it looks class. And we can just see the sort of northern stretch of Coniston Water, back to like Red Screes and Fairfield, a little bit of Holmfeld there where we were, where, that's well hard to say, where we were with Adam of First Man Photography a couple of weeks back. Oh, look at that gaff over there. What a gaff. That was definitely some Lancastrian back in the Victorian era that just fancied himself that bit of land. All right, let's head up here. Mind you, this would have been Lancashire. I said that in last week's video about Windermere. Windermere was right on the border. I guess it was Westmoreland, wasn't it? But, well, I should know this stuff because I'm really into it. But Coniston Town, Coniston Fells, this was all Lancashire. This would have been Lancashire. I just never know where it stopped. It wouldn't have been too much further up. Someone let me know. Oh, this is beautiful. Hour till sunset. Oh, so just in the golden hour. Really nice little section of silver birch trees there. I've just whipped the camera out, the OM-5 out of the hip pack, and grabbed this photograph. Well, I don't know if it was the 16:9 or the square crop that I preferred, so I don't know which one you're seeing now, but I don't know, I just loved how the vibrant trunks and the leaves were reaching out into the sky. It looked fantastic, and then that sort of ridge line off in the background. But I'm rushing, it could be terrible. Whoa! Ooh, goodness me, Herdwick poo all over the gaff. I haven't been like this in ages, but oh, I just love it up. Oh, I just love it up at Kelly Hall Tarn. And I mean, look at the light. Oh, you just want to be set up at this point in time, don't you? Not looking at the light, and then I know that once I get up there, I've got to find a photograph as well. Why? Why do you always do that to me? Why do you give me hope? Oh, wow, absolutely beautiful. So this little tarn here is one that I've never been to before. It's called Long Moss. I think that's it. I don't think it's even called Long Moss Tarn, just Long Moss. And wow, isn't that gorgeous? I don't know about you, but that screams to me panorama. Simple panorama, starting there and finishing there. So you're seeing it now. Obviously I've just done it handheld with the OM-5, which is just brilliant. Made sure I'm in manual mode, made sure that I've manually focused so that the settings and the focal point doesn't change as I take each photograph. But I would suggest that that is probably going to be 6 or 7 photographs. It's quite a big panel. It's a long moss. Wow, that is gorgeous, isn't it? Look at that. So we're nearly at Kelly Hall Tarn, which is quite similar. I mean, it's only sort of 2 minutes walk further down this way. And, but yeah, I suppose it's not quite as long. It's more of, it's a little bit smaller actually. You know what, I'm on a mad one. It's probably the same size, but just a completely different shape. That's what I'm trying to say. But we're going to be in the perfect place because one of these little hills you could see is going to give us a bit of a vantage point looking down on Kelly Hall Tarn a little bit, and you'll see it just kind of opens out. And then of course we're going to have all this as well for the next probably 20 minutes, half hour. So I thought I was going to be proper late. I mean, I'm late because you still want to be places early, don't you? But by the time we get there, if we can find a photograph, I think it's going to be pretty much perfect timing, you know. I don't know how. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if there's other photographers here actually. It's one of these places that is a hidden gem. Not many people come here, but it's quite popular with photographers. and it's literally 20 seconds walk from where you park your car to get to this spot that you're going to see now. It's unbelievable. Oh, look at that. Look at that pastoral lakeland scene. Oh, background fells, patches of light, beautiful golden evening sunlight. Oh, a little slither of Coniston water off down there. That, by the way, I don't know if you can see it for the sun, but yeah, there, little Land Rover garage. That's where you park the car. And the tarn, I think, wants to be anyway, should just be over this little ridge here. And yeah, it's a brilliant little spot because there's all sorts of different points to shoot from. There we go. Look at this now. I'll keep you with me as I'm walking towards it because, man, it just opens out. I love Kelly Hall Tarn. And then you've got the beacon, which is that little conical shape there off in the background. And yeah, just watch this as it opens out. It is stunning. And yeah, definitely a lot of famous photographs, I suppose, taken from here, or, you know, well-known photographs. Like I said, it is a popular place for landscape photographers to come, but I mean, look at it, you can see why. It's just extraordinary, isn't it? Oh, look, photographer down there. Told you, didn't I? And then that tree, I guess that's really famous. Oh, that is just class, isn't it? Right, I'm gonna have a chat with my mate round there, and then I am probably gonna plonk myself on that side and shoot back towards the Coniston Fells. I think, I don't know yet. All right, so the sun has proper started dipping down. Photographer I just met there, he's called David. I'll put his Instagram or something up on the screen if he wants to share it with me, but really nice bloke, just chatting away there. He's off down to North Wales in a couple of days, I think. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get a shot from here. Now, I've got this photograph, a pano, just next to where David is there, a little bit further up on the hillside, just so I could look down on Kelly Hall Tarn a bit, and it looked quite nice. We really are in prime light at the minute. And then parked myself right next to my new mate there and just completely copied his idea of a photograph, which is this one. And we were both saying it looks kind of cool, really wide, which I wasn't expecting. I thought I'd zoom in on the tree, but it looked really cool wide, almost like a bit of a minimalist feel, and of course so nice with the reflections. I'm also going to grab this photograph, which from Kelly Hall Tarn, if you've been here before, you know, is a little bit of a classic. Rock down in the foreground, got really nice reflections, which helps so much in this location. Probably won't include that tree as far to the left, but I'll include that bunch of trees there. And of course, then we've got the Coniston Fells in the middle. So I'll put that image up there now. But yeah, really, really simple. And I've got this shot so many times. If you're ever going to come to Kelly Hall Tarn, I would highly recommend to come in winter, in particular if you can come when there's a cold snap, because this is quite a shallow little tarn here and it often freezes over, and you know, when you get those beautiful patterns down in the water, it is a really good spot that time of year.
I can't tell on the back of my camera if I'm getting a good lens flare.
So a lot of you that have followed me for a few years, you'll remember when I dropped my Nikon D7200 in a lake, or you remember when I told you about it, it was here. It was on the shores of Kelly Hall Tarn. In it plopped. Oh, that was mint. That was really nice. And I was trying to get something a little bit different, focusing down on some of the kind of reeds that were peeking up through the top of the tarn. And I got this photograph. And yeah, obviously really different, very, very minimalist. And yeah, it looked all right. And just really enjoy, especially in like a location like that that's quite popular with photographers, I suppose, just trying to look for little original compositions, little original scenes round and about. And I've really enjoyed that today, you know, like finding little intimate photographs, as I always do, but that is just some location down there, I'll tell you that much. And then yeah, like I said, you go through that gate there and you're in the car park. That is it. It's such a fantastic location for people that don't really want to do big walks or anything like that, and unbelievable bang for your buck. As always, thank you very much to all of you over on my Ko-fi page, all of my Ko-fi members. I appreciate your support very, very much. And to the rest of you that are tuning in to this video, thank you so much for your support. I hope you enjoyed this little adventure. This is brilliant. This has been brilliant. I'll tell you what I've enjoyed, going out and photographing the sunset. It's been a while. I've just been enjoying sort of daytime photography recently, but yeah, that was great. So yeah, cheers, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Out.